Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Cone back here again tonight with another episode of After the Buzzer, the show where I recap the NBA games from the night. A lot of fun action across the association. If you're watching football, don't worry, I'm here to catch you up. And in particular, there is one team out west that is starting to separate themselves as maybe a dark horse contender for the first time in a very, very long time. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos. And let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off, we had a battle between the 2 and 3 seeds out west with New Orleans taking on Denver. And the Pelicans got a 15-point win without Brandon Ingram. They're led, of course, by Zion Williamson, who had 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. He's really starting to heat up as of late. After starting somewhat slow at the beginning of the season, he's now scoring 26.2 points per game on 65% shooting over his last 6 matchups to go along with 9.2 rebounds and 5 assists. He is just absolutely incredible. Before the season, I made a video calling him a dark horse MVP candidate because I believed if he got to his old form, the Pelicans could reach new heights, and they maybe had a Grizzlies type jump in them, going from an 8 seed that was kind of startup and they were young, had a ton of potential, to the next year being one of the top teams out west. And it looks like they might be starting to do that because of Zion Williamson at the helm. He's been incredible, doing his typical thing where he bullies his way into the paint. You know he's not really going to shoot threes. You know he's not going to shoot mid-range jumpers. It doesn't matter. Zion can get to the rim basically whenever he wants. There's almost nobody in the league that can stop him with a full head of steam. His ability to not just jump once but jump twice after his misses is absolutely incredible. There are very few people in the league that can go up and get their own miss like he can, and teams recognize how good Zion is. They'll send doubles, they'll send triples. The other day against the Spurs, it felt like they sent 4 people at some times, but it doesn't even matter because he's only gotten better and better in the other aspects of his game. In particular, his passing has always been a bit underrated, but this year it continues to get better. He is processing these coverages at such high speeds. The second that a team sends a double, a triple, whatever they want to send, they play a zone defense, they, go over, under screens, whatever you do with Zion, he's going to figure out a way to pick your defense apart. He's going to make the right pass, hit an open shooter, of which the Pelicans have a ton of them. He's going to just get past the double team. Whatever you do, Zion is figuring things out, and that playmaking is a big aspect of it, so shout out to Point Z. The Pels also got a massive contribution from Jose Alvarado, who dropped a career-high 38 points with 8 threes. He was ridiculous in this one. You don't typically see these type of offensive explosions from Jose. He's usually just that pest defensive guy that is going to get a couple steals from behind, make hustle plays, get the crowd involved, and they were loving it, because if I was a Pelicans fan, this would have been like the greatest day of my life, watching Jose go off with a flamethrower. It was unbelievable. He scored 38 in less than 30 minutes as a guy who doesn't typically score that much. So shout out to Jose, huge contribution from him to help get this win. Once again, like I mentioned, without Brandon Ingram, who typically provides a lot of the offense. They also got good contributions with Trey Murphy dropping 12 points, 13 from Jonas Valanciunas, 12 from Billy Hernan-Gomez, who also played great defense on Nikola Jokic in the second half, because Jonas Valanciunas was, to be honest, food basically every single time Jokic tried to post him up or went at him. He got cooked basically 24/7, so they really needed Hernan-Gomez to step up, which he did, and that really speaks to the depth of this team. The Pelicans are one of the deepest teams in the league. Of course, they're led by Zion, Brandon Ingram, and CJ McCollum, who's been a bit underwhelming so far this season, but he's missed some time here and there, so I still believe he's going to get back to at least somewhat of his usual self. But they've also got a lot of great role players. Trey Murphy, Jonas Valanciunas has been solid, although I do think they could upgrade at center. You have Jose Alvarado, who of course we've talked about. You've got Dyson Daniels, who's been really solid as a backup guard when he's played so far, one of the top picks in the draft from them. Larry Nance Jr., one of the most underrated guys at the power forward position, also playing some small ball big for them, fits perfectly in a lot of their lineups. He plays defense, he slashes to the rim. Whatever you need Larry Nance to do, he does a bit of everything, and they use him phenomenally. Willie Green has done such a good job with this team. You also get great play from Herb Jones, who is an all defensive level guy, in my opinion. Watching the Pelicans play the Thunder, I haven't seen anybody play as good of defense on Shea as Herb did. He was locking him up a lot of times, which has been very hard to do this season. So shout out to Herb Jones, love what he brings to the table. And they just have such a deep squad, led by 2 all-star caliber guys, Zion and Ingram, and both of them I also think could be all-NBA players this season or at some point down the line. They've got a great coach. They're one of the deepest teams in the league. They're top 10 in both offensive and defensive rating, 6th in offense, 3rd in defense. And with this win, they're the 2nd seed in the Western Conference, which I don't feel like anybody is talking about. They're just 1 game back from the conference leading Phoenix Suns despite Zion missing time. time, Ingram missing time, CJ missing time, Herb has missed some time. Basically, everybody on this roster has been hurt or something has gone wrong for them in one way or another. We really haven't seen these top three guys with CJ, Brandon Ingram, and Zion, with all the role players on the court together very often so far this year. They're still finding ways to get wins. They have so much depth. Guys know how to step up exactly what role they need to play. They're able to switch their scheme. If they've got Zion in, they run a different type of offense. If he's out, they switch things up. They've just got so many great bodies on this roster, and they're taking that leap. I really feel like by the end of this season, the Pelicans have the chance to make a deep run in the Western Conference playoffs, in particular because there are very few teams in the league right now better set up to trade for a disgruntled star than New Orleans. Or maybe even if not a star, you can just bring in some high-level role players, upgrading your roster using the plethora of first-round picks that you have. A player like Miles Turner would fit so perfectly on this team as a shot blocker, as a floor stretcher. If you replace Jonas Valanciunas with him, this team looks more like a title contender than they did the day before. And I do believe they have a pretty good package to go out and get a guy like him. They could add more 3-and-D wings, more guard play if they need to. Whatever they want to do, they have trade assets and the ability to go out and make moves. If they reach the deadline and they're still, as they are now, a top 3 seed in the West, I would be surprised if they didn't go ahead and buy into what they've got going on, because this is easily the best team the Pelicans have had in a very, very long time. And all these guys are young. Ingram still isn't in his prime. Zion has only played maybe like a total of 150 games in the league after dealing with injuries. He is still super young. Trey Murphy III, as he continues to pop out and become a great 3-and-D wing. This is only his second season in the league. Jose Alvarado is not too old. Dyson Daniels looks better and better as a young guard. They have so much young talent on this roster that they could either continue to develop or flip for more established players if they want to. They've got so many options. The Pelicans are super, super scary. I don't understand why I don't see many people talking about them. I scroll Twitter, I follow like 13,000 people, which is too many, but I don't really see many people say, oh, how about the Pelicans? Like, look what they're doing over there out in New Orleans. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just not following the right people. Maybe you are seeing a lot of Pelicans coverage, but I feel like they deserve a lot more respect and recognition for what they're doing with such little in terms of having guys continuously healthy. Their main core of guys, we haven't seen them play together so much this season. As they continue to get healthier, maybe bring in some more pieces, and these young guys continue to work, develop, and get better, New Orleans is going to become one of the powerhouses in the conference very, very soon, and maybe even by the end of the season, as they could potentially become dark horse contenders. For the Denver Nuggets, they were without Michael Porter Jr. in this one, leading to Jokic having to step up even more offensively. He dropped 32 points, 16 rebounds, and 9 assists on 13 of 19 shooting. He ate Valanciunas alive basically every single time he guarded him. Jamal Murray had 18, Aaron Gordon had 19, and Bruce Brown had 13 points. But basically, if Jokic wasn't on the court, the Nuggets were getting absolutely cooked, which has been a story for a while now with them. They need Jamal Murray to get a bit more consistent. They need Michael Porter Jr. back on the court, and they need some more consistency from some of those role players. Then we had Lakers versus Wizards, and in the biggest performance of the night, Anthony Davis continues to rise his way up the MVP ladder, dropping 55 points and 17 rebounds against Washington. Just absolutely insane stuff from him as he continues to ball out and make me and everyone else who thought he might be cooked look like absolute idiots. Incredible performance from him. He made a couple of threes, but it's basically all inside. The Wizards knew who the ball was going to go to, but there was nothing they could do. He has been so dominant, probably the best player in the world over this last week or so, and he continues to make his case for the MVP award as well as the Defensive Player of the Year. LeBron James had a pretty good game too with 29, 8, and 6. Russ had 6.7 rebounds and 15 dimes. He's trying to make a 6-man of the year case. It was just incredible from the Lakers. While from the Wizards, Kuzma had 26, 7, and 4. Kristaps had 27, 9, and 3, but absolutely no answer for Anthony Davis, as the Lakers are starting to look once again like a competent squad. In Celtics versus Nets, Jaylen Brown stepped up in a big way to give Boston the win, dropping 34 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists. He's having the best year of his career, and I feel like he deserves a lot more recognition for the way that he's played. Has kind of flown under the radar, mainly due to Jason Tatum playing like an MVP candidate. He had 29 points and 11 rebounds, albeit a lot of turnovers, which was also the case for Kevin Durant, who had 31, 7, and 5, but he also had 8 turnovers. The Celtics shot over 40% from 3. They basically could not be stopped as they continue to have a historically great offense. Kings versus Bulls, Sacramento got to light the beam in a W. It was a very balanced effort from the whole squad. You had 11 from Keegan Murray, 17 from Harrison Barnes, 11, 17, and 10 triple double from Sabonis, 16, 7, and 4 from Fox, 12 from Kevin Huerter, 9 from Davion Mitchell, 20 from Malik Monk. This Sacramento team is so well-rounded. Another team that is very, very deep, and they use those pieces to perfection. For Chicago, Zach LaVine had easily his best game of the year, dropping 41 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists, but outside of him, not much going on there. To give some real quick shout-outs, in Knicks versus Cavs, Quentin Grimes, Deuce McBride, and Emmanuel Quickley played phenomenal defense. All three got shout-outs from Tom Thibodeau after the game because they held Cleveland to just 81 points, and Donovan Mitchell, who probably came to Madison Square Garden trying to prove something, really struggled in this one as they completely clamped the Cavaliers. Then the Suns blew up the Spurs by 38 points as San Antonio has now lost 16 out of their last 17 games, so Victor Wembanyama is probably on the way. You had Memphis get a well-rounded win over Detroit. Ja had 33, Jaren Jackson Jr. had 22, Dylan Brooks had 22, Brandon Clark had a 14-14 double-double. As I'm recording this, the Pacers-Blazers game is not over, but Portland is up by over 20 points, so I'm just going to assume they're going to get a win. Anthony Simons and Jeremy Grant struggling a little bit in Damian Lillard's return, but they're doing well enough to probably get a W, and if they don't, then I'm sorry. That's all I have to say in this one. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos, and also comment down below your biggest takeaways from the night. Do you believe the Pelicans can become a contender sooner than later? And also, we are very close to 20,000 subscribers on this channel, so go ahead and comment down below what you think we should do for a 20,000 subscriber special. I've got some ideas in mind, but I'd love to hear what y'all have to say. I appreciate all y'all's support as always. I'll see y'all later. Real one, say it back.